Okay. Hi. Um, let's talk. We're here together, so let's have a little update chat situation. Um, yeah. So most recently, um, my Xbox, it's a 360 Slim, decided to get sick. I wouldn't say it got sick and died because there's still hope in this situation, for it to come back. But I have the red dot happening, like on the fat original 360. It's called the red ring of death, and it usually happens when it overheats and it's just not coming back. But this is the first time I've ever seen the red dot come up on a 360. Like, I didn't even know it was a thing. All I heard last was that they corrected it on the fat 360 with the original, and that was that. And then you have the next Xbox, and then you have the Slim. Well, I guess the Slim is the next Xbox. So what happened was that I had a controller, a wired controller, and it started going on the fritz. And this is the point of this conversation for anyone. This is the point of the gaming part of this conversation for anyone who has, I guess, anything, any electronic that starts to shorten the wires. Just get rid of it. I rigged mine, and I rigged it with electrical tape. And it was cool, because it's the same thing like in headphones, especially like wireless ones. Not wireless ones, but like earbuds, or like, actually not even earbuds. It's more like the jacks, and right around the component that plugs into from your, I guess, headphones to whatever you're plugging it into, it'll go bad in that area. So you know how that is, anyone. So that kind of happens at the base of console controllers. And in my opinion, Xbox controllers especially. I don't remember it ever happening with my PlayStations, like ever, But one thing I will say about these controllers is that I bought them both used. The most recent one, I had it rigged for a while, and it was cool. But then, it wasn't. So then I brought out the one that was sitting in my cupboard that I thought was backup, even though it had stopped working like a while ago. Busted that thing out. Just, new hope, I guess. And so that one didn't work at all. And then I started trying to use the most recent one that was going out, and it wasn't working. And then I had a brand new PC controller, just a little low budget kind of one, when I was thinking about playing Skyrim on my laptop. But my laptop's really not built for gaming. Like, my laptop is 32-bit, and that just says it all, honestly. But it's good. It has a really nice fast processor, but forget about it. 32-bit just it will slam the door in your face. Don't even. It's cool, but yeah, let's just say for gaming and 3D things in general, like, there's a whole part of Photoshop that I can't use. There's like anything that has 3D rendering, like in the software that I use for school, like any part, like even the class that I'm in now, which is 3D modeling, I can't use 18, 17, 16. I had to call customer support and go and get a trial to 13 so I could use it, because I only have 32-bit and the rest of their software uses 62 or 64, I'm sorry. And I get the other ones for free. And I have to go back to like an old school trial just to function in this class. Yeah, so back to the gaming. I had this PC controller Doesn't work on an Xbox. It was like a last effort, you know, like desperation. I kind of knew it wouldn't work because you have to have one that is like designed for it. Like I know. And one good thing is that I actually plugged it into my PC, and my PC was like, whoa, this thing is about to blow up. We're shutting this port down, and until you say it's okay for it to be okay again, we're leaving it as is. See, that's kind of what happened to my Xbox. Like, I don't even know if I can have the camera reach, but let me see. My wire is all like jacked, so we're just gonna leave this as is. But all in all, just imagine an Xbox 360 with a red dot in the center, and it just like this, kind of like when I throw a tantrum. So short of, no pun intended, busting this thing apart and trying to reset it manually, I'm trying to let it overheat on its own by just leaving it on, because I don't feel as if the fan is turning. And I read in a comment in another video for another type of effort to fix it that this person, she left her Xbox on for a half hour and then turned it off and turned it back on. So that's where I am. And the thing that I had to fight against myself for was today I was able to get another controller. Like, I thought I had to order one. Processes before that, you know, it's not just like go and order one from eBay. But I thought I was gonna at least have to like get one from eBay, because the ones like in the store are just nonsense, like overpriced nonsense. Like, I don't know, maybe not, but I just have issues. But they finally reduced the prices of Xbox, like genuine Xbox controllers in big retailers. Or Bill Gates basically said drop the price of those bitches. And so JT over here was like, yeah. So I finally got a controller, because the red light came on when the other controllers, you know, were like refusing. And I was like, oh, it's because it doesn't have a controller. You know, it's just like, you know, oh, I need a controller, so until then it's gonna have a red light. But then when I had a controller come in, or I got one, it was like, okay, yeah, it's still giving me the red light. So that's how my weekend of hibernation started. And it's all good, because I have plenty of awesome handhelds, you know. Like, I just restarted Persona 3 on my PSP, which is a really good game. I had forgotten how good that game was, you know, but I completely reformatted my memory stick in my PSP to restart Persona 3 for personal reasons. And the same reasons were the reason that was the reason that I was going to go into Skyrim tonight on my 360 and completely start that over. And might I add, I had close to 500 hours of playtime on Skyrim, and I was about to start that bitch again. But it's all good, it'll be there. At least I have a fresh ass hard drive. So worst comes to worst, I'm gonna operate on this Xbox Slim, and then when I find, I guess, a nicely priced Xbox Slim on eBay, I can get one that is console only. So that's not too expensive. Keep in mind, I am on a very limited budget, so I guess you can call that the student artist budget. So, you know, I'm cheap, but, you know, and I'm kind of frugal, but, you know, other times I just have learned to pull the reins in on myself. So I'll just be chilling. But I will say that I do prefer watching things on my TV versus my computer or a tablet, you know, especially because I do a lot of work on my computer, and it's just very nice to have like a monitor to look at. So, but there are other very good bonuses with not having my Xbox Slim working. So it's not a complete loss. So with the things working for work, I'm doing some digital art type situations for a board game that, you know, I've been hired to work on, which is very cool because this will be my second game, like not video game or PC game or something like that, but actual like board type game. Like the other game that I worked on was a mobile game, but it was a board game that was digital. So it was in the style of like Monopoly, like that kind of board. So this one's completely different, but it's very cool. So I'll be getting to work on that tonight. And I thought I was gonna be using my Xbox. Maybe I still will be. I'm letting it get good and hot. Because what's supposed to happen is that it resets itself. That would be essentially the same thing that I'm doing if I were to go to work on it and open it myself. I would be disconnecting the fan and letting it run and letting it just get hot and restart itself. So what I'm trying to do now is, so, you know, since I don't hear it, the fan running, I'm trying to just let it sit. So it's been sitting probably for about 45 minutes now. She said 30 minutes. I'm letting that bitch sit for an hour. So I don't know. But and I have a PS2 and I could go and start Final Fantasy VII again, which would be very cool, but I don't have a power cord for it. That's just that. So that's wild, right? But that's just how it goes. So yeah. But anyway, art. Whoa, art, man. Like I said, I'm in 3D. Well, I don't think I said, I don't know. I started this video again. But to make a long story short, I'm in 3D modeling in school right now, and so it's not really artistic. That's just quote unquote geometry. Like they literally have that as like one of the techniques that you use when you're building stuff in this program. It's like called 3ds Max, which is pretty cool because, you know, I have a Nintendo 3DS, so it's pretty cool that there's software named 3ds Max. So but it's hard as shit, you know. So like it really is rough, you know, and I don't know, like I'm just still trying, honestly, but I'm a little bit behind too. So I think that's another thing, is that I'm trying to rush versus like really take it in and do it right. But I was kind of rushed this past week because I was really busy with work related things, and you know, I have to put those type of things before school. Like I would do it the other way around, you know, and think like, well, this is going to help me in the future, but ultimately, like, I've had to learn to prioritize, I guess. Priority. So fine art, painting. Well, one thing I will say is that I'm in video game design and development now, which is like the artistic side of video games, like 3D stuff and animation and developing environments, which I'm really looking forward to. I want to do that. But and I did that because I felt it would help me as like a fine artist, because, you know, environments are just kind of part of, I guess, the entirety of art, and sometimes I just leave them out and opt to draw like an object on a flat surface, and that's very enjoyable and easy and relaxing for me. Like putting something into an environment and making like a scene that just sounds like a good addition to my artistic career, you know, because it's not one of my strengths, you know. So, but with oil painting and stuff, I've been thinking about changing from the video game and development major in a bachelor's and moving to a master's. Sounds very regal. I'm going to go for my master's. So, but yeah, like it sounds pretty cool, you know. A master's in fine art and a concentration in oil painting. And I'm trying to find an online school because I'm not trying to go into a studio. I'm not trying to go around my city here, and I want to just be here at home. But one program that I found, I will have to say, it is $40,000 a year, and my mind is still blown. Like, are all master's programs that expensive? Like, is that just a thing? Like, because I spent maybe 40, I want to say even maybe less than that, on a 4-year degree to a relatively big accredited traditional university that I was staying on campus in a dorm all the years that I was there. And I took 5 years to graduate, by the way. So, yeah, no, but I did change majors 3 times, but most likely I failed a couple things, but I mean, I laugh, but it's just how it is. So, but yeah, I want to say that I didn't even spend $40,000 on 4 years at that kind of university versus $40,000 for 1 year online. It just sounds stupid, but it's not, because I do feel as if it will help me as an artist, because I do well with a coach. I do well with teachers and being in these type of classroom situations, and honestly, like 3D modeling and stuff like that and animation, they're cool, but they're like vanity classes, you know. Like I don't feel like getting hired to do these types of things or looking for jobs or working on these things as much as I would need to be competitive with other people that do these things, you know, beyond the goodness of their heart, you know, like ones that are just really die hard into it. Like, and I don't want to just do it as a hobby, like, oh, I just love 3D modeling so much. Oh, animation is just so fun. Like, if I reached a point as a fine artist, you know, and with painting, I was like, okay, this weekend I'm just gonna take a break and I'm gonna kick it and I'm gonna mess around with some 3D modeling stuff. That'd be cool, you know. But even then, like, it takes more work than just a weekend to like get acquainted with software. Like, it would have to be something that I'm like passionate about, you know, like, oh, I just can't wait to go and work on it. But I'm not. I'm very passionate about video games, but not like in that way. With art, it is like it's always something. There is always some inner dialogue that is on constant play, constant repeat, constant whatever in my mind. Like today I came up with this storyline of NWA and George Bush. If anyone remembers, when they visited the White House, like, I'm into politics just a little bit, and you know, so the White House stuff that's been happening here in the States made me, or you know, just in the States, but also like right now, made me think of like the last time things that were similar happened. And the only thing that I could really think of is when NWA went to the White House when George Bush was in office. I think it was it George Bush Sr.? I think. But that was during the time when NWA was coming out with stuff like "fuck the police." And the White House was like, whoa, we gotta talk to these guys. So I came up with this dialogue between them and George Bush that I'd like to put into like a comic form, you know. So stuff like that I take seriously, you know. I think about what can come next with it. I don't think about what can come next with programming or making something like 3D, making an animation. Like, it's very tedious. It's very like interesting, you know, like I think it's very cool, like, but I'm not into all that math shit. Like I'm not into, you would see some fucked up looking objects, someone to be playing the game and they'll just look and be like, what is that? And it's supposed to be some perfectly like balanced, symmetrical object, and you'll see it probably looking warped. They'll probably turn off the game and think like, I still don't know what that is. That would be my work. So, you know, that's just not my thing, you know. But I think anything related to video games is interesting because I've been playing video games so long. I've been playing video games since I was 8 or 7, maybe even 6. That was 1986, man. I wasn't paying, but I used to get yelled at by my dad about paying per minute for the internet, you know. It was like Prodigy, dial-up, playing Mad Maze. Like, Mad Maze was this shit. Like, it was the most basic game, but you're going through this maze and you go one screen forward and you're pretty much just walls, one wall on one side, one wall on the other, unless you reach this point where you could actually like turn, and then maybe you'll find like some person, you know. And it was the most simple game, but I got started on that. And what was like cutting edge and like awesome was like when you had like a screen that popped up that actually had like typing on it and a picture, and it was like the coolest thing because you spend all these hours, from what I remember, going like through this maze and getting lost, and it's just a flat wall, like 1980s flat wall, like that. I don't even know what you call that, but and then you would get a picture, and it was like the coolest thing. So I really like that. I think that's why I like have a respect for digital art and things like that now. And then it progressed, you know. Then I started playing King's Quest. And you know, I love medieval things. Like, I'm going through Game of Thrones like for the 5th time right now. So, but Roberta Williams was the creator of that. So it was really cool because, I don't know, like, she just seemed like a G, you know. I was like, wow, there's somebody who's like making series of fresh ass games, you know. I didn't think about her being a woman because it was like early in my life, and I was just like, oh, you know, I didn't think anything of it. But you know, you think about it nowadays and people are like, oh, well, women need to, you know, no, they're not making it in video games. I'm like, yes, the fuck they are. They've been doing it since the 80s, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But she was a G, and King's Quest was the shit, like, hands down. And I used to play it forever. Like, I remember, this is like some memory lane shit, but I remember in one of them, there was a time that you had to like do something, right? And in order to get to that time, you actually had to let the game hit that time. There was no like time lapse, you know. Like, actually there's not a whole lot of time stuff in games nowadays, period. Like in Skyrim, you might have to wait until nighttime, but you can choose to wait and the game will fast forward itself. Like if you press select or something and it says wait how long, you can wait 6 hours if it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it'll be like dusk. Not in this game. You had to wait 6 hours, and if you missed it, you had to wait another like 18 or 20 or whatever you missed it by. And so like I used to do that, you know. I remember it being like so late at night and I'm like, I gotta wait, you know. And I would. And I finished all of them, you know. And I repurchased it, actually. I actually have it for my computer now. So maybe I'll play that. I don't know. But I've just been enjoying the handhelds, you know. So that's been cool. So, but yeah, like those are the things that made me interested in video game design. Like I just needed something to study, and I thought programming would be cool because I have a degree in graphic design and I used Dreamweaver for a lot of years, so I was always looking at code, and I just felt like it would improve my skill set. So when it came for me to need to go back to school, I was thinking, oh well, you know, I can get taught to program, and it was alright, you know. Like it went into like I went into programming for Windows and Microsoft, and then I was like, I don't want to be working for Bill Gates. I don't want to, you know, I was trying to go to Linux, you know, like, and then it was like, okay, let me streamline, because I felt like that would help me in game programming. But then I realized it's like two totally different things. And then I went to video game programming, and it just interfered with me artistically because it would take so much of my time, and I just really wasn't good at it, and I didn't put the time that I should have towards it, or that I would have needed to put towards it if I was really interested. But I was more interested in art. So then I changed over to design and development because I felt like, well, at least it's the video game related, and as an artist I could use whatever I use here or learn here in order to become a better artist overall. So, but now I'm thinking, let's just go to painting, because that's what it's always been about, you know, like from the beginning of time. Like I started painting when I was really young, and that's always been my foundation, and I didn't choose that when I went to school the first time because I felt like, you know, it wasn't something serious, you know, like I needed a corporate job or a corporate, and yes, I'm drinking coffee at 10:30 at night. I told myself I wouldn't. Probably need to stop on that right now, but so I wake at 7 like I was this morning. But coffee's so delicious. So but yeah, so I didn't think that art could be a valid degree. I like going to school, but you know, like I said, it took me 5 years to graduate, and I fail at some classes sometimes, and I'm not very studious, but something about it, maybe it's because I'm all those things, it helps me feel like organized or something, I don't know. But yeah. But for the school that I looked into, I might have missed the deadlines by a month. They have like a deadline during the year, and I think it passed like a month ago that I needed to turn in all this extra paperwork in, not like tuition, like grad, you know, admission stuff, but it's like this overall like a student fee. You know, you have to drop $500 as a student fee by May, and I think that time passed, so even me applying for the program might be out of the question. But I have other universities that I'm researching, and so we'll see how it goes. And plus I still have to speak to my advisor at this university. You get assigned an advisor when you start the application process, so we'll see what they say. But I have paintings that I'm working on now, but ultimately I've been working on stuff that I was hired for, and this other job that I do, it's only 1 hour a day, but it's for like social media evaluation. Like it's real cool, but it's only an hour a day, and basically it's evaluating advertisements. So that's all I can really say about it, but it's really cool. And what else am I working on? I still have tattoo clients, but I opted out of getting new ones, like looking actively. Like I've handed out a few, like maybe 3 business cards to people for tattooing, and it just didn't work out the way that I thought it might have. Like, I felt like maybe I could just have like new clients and have them come to my place, because after I left my studio Grips Inc., you know, I wanted to continue my progress as a tattoo artist and just continue working. I guess just working in general just means progress to me. But it just felt weird to think about like strangers coming into my house, you know, and I just couldn't even deal. Like, I couldn't deal with that at all. So I just continue to work on the clients that I have and, you know, ask them to refer me to people who are trustworthy to them, who are in the market for tattoos that they may, you know, speak with randomly, and they're like, oh, I want a tattoo, and if it comes up like, oh, well, you know, my tattoo artist is like this or whatever, or if they see the work, you know, that's happened a little bit. But so that's where tattooing is. It's slower than I would like, but it's still very progressive, you know, because things are still moving along nicely, and I still have work that I'm at least remotely satisfied with. Nothing that I'm like dissatisfied with, but it's just a slower process than I would have liked. But you know, that's just how I am. I'm a little bit of a rusher. So with that, I'm gonna go and do this work for tonight and see where that takes me. I have some boxed wine for the weekend, which is cool. I'm down for boxed wine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I'm on a budget, you know, but boxed wine ain't half bad now. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, I have been with the ooh and all that, and I know about the cool wines in life. I've worked at enough restaurants to have experienced good wine, but ain't nothing wrong with boxed wine. It's just a different thing. You can't approach the boxed wine with the same mental expectation that you do with like something that has all this credentials behind it, you know, like the year and the, you know, something like a Pinot Noir or a Beaujolais or something. So, you know, I wouldn't say a Sauv Blanc, but like a Pinot Blanc, you know, like you're not gonna get anything that's near those flavor profiles in a box. But when you go to the box, you just get a basic standard, which is easy drinking. So, and if it's a decent alcohol content, like my favorite is 12.5 or 13%, it's all good. So I'll be doing some work and then doing some boxed wine while I game, and maybe my Xbox will decide to come back to life. If not, I'll be learning how to take an Xbox apart, because at this point, with it not functioning, it's like that's what these things are good for. That's really the only way to learn, is by doing it, and you really can't do it unless, you know, you have a subject to do it on. So I don't know. So we'll see. It's all good. But and on that note, oh, one more thing. My other videos about of me painting or of me whatever, if you remember, I uploaded a few and they all had music in them, and they were all banned. So I'm in the process of re-uploading them. I think I've gotten 1 or 2 uploaded, but just one, and the others I'll put back up. I just haven't gotten to them yet. So, you know, it's good for background visuals. Maybe it's interesting. But on that note, I will talk to you later. Bye.